Welcome to the only University of Tennessee related sports show where we will not be talking about on-campus parking for the fall. The Mike Keith Show. Glad to have you with us. Big baseball weekend upcoming as the Volunteers get ready to take on Kentucky. Liam Doyle will join us, the talented left-hand pitcher who may be the best guy going in the Southeastern Conference, maybe the best guy going in the country. We will talk with him. Also had an opportunity to sit down with Butch Wilmore. This was not something we expected, but Butch Wilmore, the astronaut who was stranded in space for an extra 278 days and just returned to Earth on March the 18th, was on campus this week to throw out the first pitch as Tennessee played baseball on Tuesday night. They said, "Would you like to talk with him?" And I said, "Yes." And he was fantastic. We really think you're going to enjoy it. But the other part in our segment 3 is a little bit of news on this. What we have done this spring. This is the last of our 4 Mike Keith shows, but we want to talk about some plans for the fall. That's segment 3. Again, the leadoff, however, Liam Doyle, left-hander, number 12 from Pinkerton Academy. Pinkerton Academy, their most famous graduate ever, Alan Shepard, the 5th man to ever walk on the moon. So we've got that astronaut tie and the New Hampshire tie with the New Hampshire native, Liam Doyle. Liam Doyle of Derry, New Hampshire.
Yes, sir.
Derry, New Hampshire, town of 35,000,
Nearly
in Maine, nearly in Massachusetts.
Nearly in Massachusetts. I'm right on the border of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah, so like 30 minutes outside of Boston.
So then you come to school in the South.
Yeah.
Everywhere you've gone to college has been in the South. Was that your intent?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to get away from home, especially just for baseball and playing the competition and prove that someone from my area can go play in the South and have some good success in the sport.
What do you miss about New Hampshire?
Definitely my family and friends. I miss them every day. My dog back home and just being home and the freedom. I love going home. It seems like almost a treat now when I get to go home, so it makes it even a little bit better that I go to school in the South. But I always miss home. Love the people and my family there and everyone.
When people hear you're from New Hampshire and they go, "New Hampshire, what's that like?" How do you describe it?
Yeah, where I'm from, I'm closer to like a suburb of Boston almost. It's like more of like a city, but like where I'm from, there's a lot of houses, a lot of trees, obviously, mountains, hills, and stuff like that. And then the more north you go, the more rural the areas get. So a lot of skiing, a lot of rivers, lakes, stuff like that. What people think of New Hampshire is about 2 hours north of me, which is a whole lot of nothing really. But I'm like 30 minutes outside of Boston, so I like where I live. I can kind of have the best of both worlds.
When we see you pitch, we see the hat,
Yep.
we see you flying around, we see you getting emotional, people would naturally say, he's a left-hander. Is that fair?
Yeah, I definitely like.
Is there really a thing with left-handers in your left-hand pitchers in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, some lefties are definitely weird. There's also some weird righties out there, so that's also fine. But I think I just try to pitch with some emotion and really care and have pride in what I'm doing out there. And I think with being a lefty, sometimes you get those characteristics of being a little funky sometimes, but that's just how I am on the mound. I like winning and I like competing. So
do you lean into it a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've gotten it since I was a kid, so it is what it is. Back home, there wasn't many left-handed pitchers anyway, so not a lot of baseball being played up home. So being weird and being a left-handed pitcher was kind of always fun for me.
We've seen the shots. You get all fired up, pumped up at the, get the last out of an inning coming off the mound. Is there anything else in your life you get pumped up like that about? Do you? Oh, I passed a test, or it's $5 sushi today. Or
no, not quite. Baseball is my thing. That's always my fun thing, and I like competing anyway. I like winning in anything, but baseball's fun. Love playing in front of the crowd and hostile environments and stuff like that, and that's why I'm pitching in the SEC too. So it's always fun.
When we think of emotional pitchers, historically we think of relievers.
Yep.
Because those are the guys who've always shown more emotion than the starters. So for you, as you came to Tennessee and started working with Frank Anderson, you are an emotional person. Tony Vitello talking about that the other night, about how understanding that's your personality, but then also understanding the mindset of having that and being a starter? Is that about finding a balance with that emotion?
Yeah, there's definitely about finding a balance and, just trying to use it as a strength, honestly. Just have a ultimate compete mode, and when you're out on the mound, just showing out there to dominate. But there's definitely a healthy balance between those two things, and you got to be able to find it. And something that I've been able to do for the past 3 years and really learn how to actually balance that out has been very helpful for me.
Because you want to still be yourself, but you also understand you don't want to use up your energy by being too emotional. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely want to stay composed in the game, and you want to give your team some long distance and stuff and on Friday nights. But yeah, you find that balance throughout your career. You have your ups and downs. You learn things from not doing so good, and you also learn things from doing really good. So it's definitely a healthy balance.
Tell me about Frank Anderson.
Yeah, Frank's funny. He's an awesome guy. He's fun to be around. He's great to pick in mind. He's worked with a ton of baseball guys and guys that have success. His son had plenty of success in the MLB, so obviously he has a lot of knowledge about the game. And then even just being here with 3 different pitching coaches, talking to guys like Kirby or Coach Reynolds and stuff like that, it's always really cool and something that I've never really had the chance to do in my baseball career. So having all 3 of those guys around is always really helpful for me.
Where has Frank Anderson helped you the most already?
Probably the mental side of baseball and just really combining those 2 things, like you said earlier, really like learning how to use my emotions as a strength for me, stuff like that. I always had the arm talent and stuff like that, and he was able to realize that. And we did some like little baseball pitching stuff earlier in the fall where we had to change a few things around with like off-speed pitching and stuff like that. But definitely the mental side of the baseball, he's been able to, just talking to him, it's changed a lot for me since I got here.
You don't think of a young pitcher as having 4 pitches, but you came to Tennessee with 4 pitches. Do you really try to hone that down to 3? Do you still try to use all 4? How do you go through the decision about your repertoire with Frank to figure out how you can be most effective for Liam Doyle and for Tennessee?
Yeah, I have 4 pitches, and I'm always going to have my fastball. My fastball is my best pitch, but having the ability to throw 3 other pitches and see what's on certain nights, I think it depends. There's always a good chance that there's going to be 2 other pitches on, so usually it's going to be a healthy mix of like 3 pitches. But having 4 pitches, and if they all are working and clicking, it's going to be really hard to hit 4 different pitch shapes and speeds and stuff like that. But yeah, coming in with 4 pitches, we were able to tweak a few things, make all my off-speed pitches a lot better for the season, and it's all paid off.
I read on social media you only have a fastball.
That's what it seems like sometimes. That is what it seems like sometimes.
But some people think that about you, but it's obvious in watching you throw this year.
Yeah.
And the economy of pitches with which you'd worked at Ole Miss, the most pitches you threw in an inning was 16. Is that an area where you've really tried to work hard?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to be able to have multiple different pitchers, especially doing what I do as being a starter. I'm not trying to be necessarily a reliever. That's what happens in pro ball. That's what happens. But I'm confident in my ability to be a starter and throw a ton of pitches in games with different types of pitches too. So, I have a lot of confidence in my pitch mix and my arsenal, and it's only going to improve from where I am now.
True or false? After you left with 1 out in the 9th in Oxford, you didn't watch the rest of the game. You were in the stairwell or the bathroom.
No, I went back in the locker room. My heart was pounding. I needed a second. I mean, those games are always so nerve-wracking, and I have all the confidence in the world in my teammates and the guys coming in behind me. But just being back in Oxford is just such a big game for me, and really wanted to win. I went back there. It was on the TV in the locker room. We had like 2 freshmen back there. I was just in the bathroom, just waiting to hear like final out caught and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
You care.
I do. Yep.
I mean, that's the part of watching you work, and I haven't seen you pitch every game, but this is something that means so much to you. You have a tremendous passion for your teammates, for what you're doing out there, how seriously you take it. Has baseball always been that to you?
Yeah, baseball has definitely been that thing for me that I was the best at competing at. And I was very competitive as a kid growing up, playing a ton of sports and just wanted to win at whatever I did. And that's part of the reason why I transferred here. It's part of the reason why I still play baseball, because it's just the best thing that I'm good at competing at and winning at. And hopefully people are seeing that this year, and I think we're going to win a lot of games because of it.
Is that why you and Tony Vitello connect so well?
Yeah, I think we have very similar competitive attitudes and stuff like that, just like a lot of guys around here, though. It's not just Coach V. I mean, the whole coaching staff, strength coaches and stuff like that, they all get it, and they all want to win, and they all want to be the best, and that's why they've been the best in college baseball for the past 10 years now or whatever, and that's also why I'm here.
You're a long way from Derry, New Hampshire.
Sure am, yep.
Are you having as much fun as it looks like you're having?
Yeah, no, it's all good, and my family comes down, so it always feels like I'm somewhat home anyway, and got a lot of people supporting me and stuff this year, especially, and it's far, but it's really not that far. It's only like a 2-hour flight or whatever from Boston, so they're able to make it down a ton, and I'm able to see a lot of my friends and stay in touch with everyone back home, and I'll see them this summer, hopefully after a national championship.
Keep rolling.
Yep, appreciate
Liam
it.
Doyle with us on the Mike Keith Show. We always love to welcome alumni back to campus. This is the first time I've ever had a chance to welcome an alum back to Earth. Captain Butch Wilmore, just back from space after 286 days. You've been back a month.
Back a month.
And you-
Almost. We're a few days shy.
And you've been on the world tour, haven't you?
Well, I don't know about the world tour. This is actually the first trip out of the state. I mean, we went to a wedding last weekend in Mexico from a mutual friend, but out of Texas, excuse me. And this is really, come home. Well, my wife says home is where we live, but I keep referring to Tennessee as home because that's what it is to us.
Mount Juliet.
Mount Juliet.
And
Yes,
Murphy,
sir.
you're born in Murfreesboro.
Born
though.
in Murfreesboro, yes, but
All right.
we grew up in Mount Juliet.
Well, all these interviews you've done,
I've done a few.
I've watched, with a lot of really talented people who ask much better questions than me. So I want to know, what's been the most common question you've gotten about returning from 286 days in space?
Yeah, I think that's the question. What's it like returning to gravity? That's the most common. And it comes in phases. So neurovestibular, your balance, that takes a couple of days. Getting adjusted, your back is now holding up your structure. It's not used to it, so the muscles are tense. And that takes a while. I'm still not over that, almost a month. And then most people don't realize this, but in zero gravity, the blood floats in your veins. Your body thinks you have too much blood, so it purges it like it normally would, purges out the blood, so you come back anemic. And of course, the red blood cells is what transfers the oxygen through your body, so your stamina is affected. So I can't go out and work those 8-hour days in the yard right now. I'm good for about 3.5.
So you really have to pace yourself.
Oh yeah, you do, absolutely. But it comes back over time.
But you were supposed to be there 8 days.
Ish, yeah,
Ish.
8 days, yeah.
And you ended up there 286.
Yeah, it was a few more.
Few more.
Yeah.
What I've been amazed about too is when you sat down to discuss it at the press conference, a lot of people want to attach blame. Why did this happen?
Yeah.
You blamed yourself first.
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, everybody's got some blame in it, and I'm as culpable as any. I wasn't a part of the procurement process, the acquisition process of the spacecraft, but I had a lot involved with the testing and the preparation. And there's some questions that I could have asked. The propulsion system is what the issue was. And from the crew standpoint, we don't deal with the mechanics of the propulsion system. We deal with the avionics that deal with the displays and all of that and the software associated with all of that. And we had some great finds, a discovery, if you will, going through tests, and as you would normally do for build-up for a spacecraft, first flight of a spacecraft. But some of those hardware issues like the propulsion system, we don't have direct insight into. But I could ask some questions. And that's why I said, you want to lay blame? Blame me. Because there's questions I could have asked in hindsight that I didn't ask, and I wish I had. So yeah, blame me. We all share part of, if you want to call it blame, the responsibility for all that occurred. But yeah, start with me.
You had peace about the whole thing, never panic. Why?
No. But it goes back to what I believe and understand about God's Word. And so I believe the Bible's the Word of God. And in so many places, there's examples of individuals that were content in all circumstances. One of those was Paul, the Apostle Paul. And he talked about being content. And that doesn't mean that you love it when you're getting waylaid with lashes like he did. He's not like enjoying it in the moment, but he's content and knowing he's in the center of the Lord's will as he's working out his plan and his purposes. And I know that to be true. I've experienced it. I see it in God's Word. I know God's Word is true. Therefore, I believe that, and I try to live what the Word says. So was I happy that it was changed? No. Was I content that the plan changed and wound up 286 days? Absolutely, for those reasons.
It felt like, though, you found a way to enjoy the experience of
Sure.
having that extra time in space, because it's your third trip.
It is, yes. Well, yeah, enjoy it. How can you not enjoy zero gravity? How can you not enjoy flying like Superman? How can you not enjoy doing a backflip every morning when you wake up because you can? How can you not enjoy those things? And also enjoy the fact of what we're doing in human spaceflight, the science that we're undertaking, and the stretching the boundaries, the understanding of what we as humans understand and the capabilities and extending those. And you've got to love that and enjoy that, regardless of what the circumstances are that put you in those positions. I did not look forward. I was not planning to spend long duration on the space station. That is true. I felt guilty in many respects because I was taking some people's place. I'd been long duration before. I'd had that experience. And there was others that were coming, would have been there, but it was me instead. I felt a little bit guilty because of that, because I'd had that experience, I'd done that. But still, dive in every day. The science is important, the maintenance is important, keeping the space station going is important, and taking charge of each and every day and doing it to the best of my ability. That's what we do in human spaceflight, regardless of what the situations are.
You're on campus for Chancellor Donde Plowman and talking about, I think, leadership more than anything else is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
What did you take from that experience that you can pass on to other people that you feel like you will find useful for the rest of your life and that others would too?
Wow, that's a huge question. Let me think about that just a second. You know, I think it goes back to what you hear in many leadership type of training scenarios, you know, that servant leadership mentality. A true leader doesn't sit there and wield his direction and say, you will do this and you will do that. They lead in a servant mentality, getting in there, getting their hands dirty and doing those things that their people are doing as well, to show that they are willing to do the hard things and do those, sometimes it's back-breaking efforts and physical requirements to get things done, and jumping in with all the rest of the folks and doing that. So I think that's a big part of it, yeah.
What was the thing outside of your family that you missed the most with 286 days away?
Actually, I watched all of the games, the baseball games last year when they were in Omaha. I even sent down a sign, I said, whoop them all in Omaha, and because I was excited about what was taking place. So the part of the enjoyment of these games is sharing the experience with others, right? I was alone, so on Space Station, I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it, but it's just me. Now, the rest of the folks, regrettably, weren't Vol fans. I tried to sway them, but
did you work on them?
I'd worked on them hard, but they weren't Vol fans. But so I'm out there in the corner, and it's, you know, the home run goes out, whoo, and I'm like, just me. But you know, that's so not being able to share the experience with a downer.
What did you do for fun or like a hobby? How do you pass the time?
Let's see
you
here.
got a little bit of time.
I think I took almost 800,000 pictures.
Did you
literally?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, some of them are time lapses where, you know, these sensors in these cameras, if you take a single picture, the resolution that the camera is able to record is much more than what if you're taking video. So you string along every half second, you take a picture, and you take pictures for 30 minutes, and you will it into a video, and the resolution is unbelievable. I mean, auroras, Tennessee, seeing Tennessee from space on a full moon night where you can see the rivers even though it's nighttime, pretty amazing. Just thrilling to take those pictures and have those treasures. And one of them, I think, was actually posted. My brother sent it to the Tennessean, and they actually put it in the paper. So, yeah, neat stuff.
What's the best meal you could whip up in space?
Best meal.
Can you fix anything, really?
Oh, well, it's all in pouches, and there's a wide variety. I was a big fan of the pineapple, chicken with pineapple.
Okay.
Yeah, so I put it on a tortilla, put a little mustard on that. It was pretty tasty.
You said you'll go back to space.
I would have given the opportunity. I don't know that I don't need to go long duration again, but some of these, you know, we've got a lot of new exploration type of events. The Artemis program, you've got the spacecraft itself, the Orion spacecraft, and you've got lunar landers and lunar rovers and all of that, and getting involved in that process. So we'll see if the opportunity comes, perhaps, but time will tell, Lord willing.
You could get news while you were in space.
I did get news, yeah.
But what was the most surprising piece of news that you got when you got back that you weren't able to get through the news feeds?
Well, I tell you, it was pretty amazing, the response to all that had transpired. I mean, we're on space station. My brother would say, Barry, when you get back, just wait. And I'm like, we're not seeing that. We're not experiencing that. But oh my, the response from this nation pulling together and the support that we felt and actually were able to see that real time once we got back was overwhelming. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It's, you know, we try not to personalize. It's not me, but it's our human spaceflight program and all aspects of our nation coming together and the the prayers and the encouragement and all that was fantastic. Fantastic.
Did you swipe anything from the space station?
Yeah.
Did you bring back a...
Not as far as you know.
And the other question is, were you paid overtime?
Oh, $5 a day per diem. Absolutely. So we got $5 a day, which is over our normal pay. Hey, I'm well compensated. I mean, it's government pay. I mean,
Sure.
you can go and you can find out what I probably don't near what you make.
It's broadcasting.
Yeah.
Very happy with it.
You
Thanks,
as well.
Danny.
Yeah.
Very happy,
You as
but
well.
not rich.
But the extra is it's $5 a day. So yeah, $1,435 I think I made.
Are
for
you
the,
serious?
For the 286 days we're up there. Yeah, it's already in my bank account. They've
That's
already
the
paid
per
me.
diem?
The per diem was for the 286, $5 a day. Oh, it's good. Though.
Seemed like the mileage would be higher.
My wife's going to take it and spend it on something very beneficial for all of us.
But okay, so let's get into that for a second. So
Yeah.
$1,435 total.
$5 a day. Yeah.
You've got to go buy something memorable with that, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't you?
She's sitting right there.
Yeah, she's saying, baby.
We'll see. We'll see.
When you're a year away,
I'm thinking put it towards a new vehicle, maybe something like that.
Something fast.
Yeah. Well, maybe, or big. Yeah.
Okay.
She wants an Armada, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Those are nice. Those are nice. All right.
Built in Tennessee.
Let's wrap up with this.
Yeah.
A year from March 18th, 2026, what will you think about the experience? What will feel different about the experience? How will you wrap it all together differently than you can today, which is roughly 11 months from now?
Will there be any more lessons learned 11 months from now than what there are now? I hope so. There's a lot to learn from what we did, what put us in the position, and I think from that standpoint, we want to make sure that there were some pitfalls, obviously, or it wouldn't have been where we were. We want to make sure we learn from those, we rectify any of those process errors within those programs, and so that's something we hope. And then 11 months from now, we will know better where we stand on that. So that's the goal for sure.
What do you think about being asked back to campus here in Knoxville?
Love
Not only for the chancellor, but a chance to throw out the first pitch at Lindsey Nelson
Never
Stadium.
dreamed. This will be my first pitch of my life. I'm thinking knuckleball. But I got to warm up first.
Well, I'm just wondering, coming back into gravity and developing
Yeah.
everything again.
Yeah.
I mean, you hadn't thrown a baseball, I bet, in quite a while.
I have shot a couple of basketball, at the goal. I'm always short, so I'm going to have to put a little bit more oomph on it, I'm sure, because zero gravity, you just barely move it and it just keeps going. So I'm going to have to put a little bit more on it, I think, to make sure it makes it to the plate. That's the goal. That's
a
the number one goal.
knuckleball in zero gravity would be great.
Yeah, it would. Well, we'll see. I probably won't throw a knuckleball, but I'd like to.
Captain Butch Wilmore, thank you so much for your service.
It's a pleasure.
We are certainly proud to be part of your history. You being a University of Tennessee graduate,
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate you.
Thank you
Welcome
so
back.
much. Thank you. Back is good.
All
Earth
right,
is a good
back
place.
is good. To segment 3, first of all, a thank you to everybody who's been working on the Mike Keith Show, helped pull it together for the spring as we wanted to get a look at it. More so, though, thanks to those of you who have chosen to subscribe to the Tennessee Athletics channel on YouTube and who have watched and who have posted and who have commented and who have rated and reviewed. We're most thankful. And if you have not subscribed to the Tennessee Athletics channel on YouTube and hit that bell where you get notification, you should do that because there's lots of great programming. We wanted to do this in the spring to kind of get our feet a little bit, see how this might work, see how you would respond, and then make a decision, would we do something like this in the fall? I'm here to tell you we're going to. We're going to do a show on Thursdays, time to be determined, and it's going to be live every single week on the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. Lots of guests, news, probably getting you ready for football games, getting you ready for basketball games, so on and so forth. But we're really excited about it, largely based on the fact that you have told us through your habits and through your kind words that this is something you'd like for us to do. So the Mike Keith Show will continue back on a Thursday in August to be determined, at a time to be determined, live for you, the Tennessee fans. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of it. And thank you most of all for being behind the big orange all the time. I'm Mike Keith, and as I remind you, all weekend long, go Vols.